presenting Beyond the Basics Creative Chess.
What does creative chess look like in action? Creative chess stems from a wide range of things, such as uncommon opening systems, sacrifices that may seem disadvantageous, developing new positional strategies that challenge the status quo, and developing a unique style. In this video, you get to see the creative side of chess. What does creative chess entail? A combination of psychology and technique. Okay, imagine you're playing the white pieces. You want to go after the king. This is your game plan. From this position, white's initial move is to gain tempo. Pawn to f4. Kicks the knight away. Bishop e2 prepares castling, and yes, white is going to push kingside pawns, although the king is castled on that side of the board. The idea is to seize the dark squares on the king side. Now that black's kingside counterplay has been halted, white will now play on the queen side, gaining space with b2 to b4. But first, rook e1 x-rays the bishop and the king on the e-file. Pawn to c5 now seizes the d6 square. Now any pawn move by black will be a losing move except for the h-pawn. And notice how white has now dominated the squares with pawns. Black's pieces have no moves, no useful moves. And now that white has taken over the dark squares, bishop e4, now white's pieces target black's pawns on the light squares. These pawns are now tactical targets. Pawn to f6, now knight captures on e6. With a check and a fork. And now what is the next move? Remember the x-ray that white set up previously? The king now threatens the knight. However, the creative shot by white. Can you guess? Bishop captures on g6. The rook holds the knight, so king accepts. And now queen to d3 is check. The only square that black has is to step to the f7 square. The only move. And now pawn f5 overprotects the knight. And now the plan is to play pawn to g6 with check. The only square that black has is to step to e8. But this forces the king into another fork. Knight c7 check. We'll pick up the rook. Now let's take a look at black's pieces. The light square bishop is closed in. The knight is pinned. And the rook on g8 is not even in the game. Black's only piece now is the bishop. And the idea is to take that away from black. With the e-file already cut off by the rook, queen to d6 now threatens to go to c7. And the game is over. Pawn to h3, and now queen c7 is checkmate. When people hear the term creative chess, they think about attack. But creative chess can work and be just effective in defense as well. For example, in this position, white threatens to take on f7, either with the knight or the bishop. But black can simply play bishop c5, and after bishop captures on f7, king e7. Now black makes the maneuver to e8 to cover the f7 square in this line of defense. And now the move is to attack the queen. Bishop e2 and queen h5. Both of black's rooks are connected and black is fully mobilized. Okay, after taking on g4, now h2 is under attack. Knight h3 is forced. Rook f8. And now there's more pressure on the f2 square. Pawn to d4. E d4. a5. Knight takes a5 and c takes on d4. And now how does black continue from here? Well, now that action has been taken in the center, the idea is to get the king over to safety. After this move, the knight retreats and the king will go to g8 and over to h8 to get off the a2 to g8 diagonal. So even on the subject of defense, creative chess means that the defender can make unexpected maneuvers, sacrifices, and make positional changes in order to make it difficult for the attacker. And now instead of the usual queen to e8, black plays d6, allowing the fork, and knight can still capture the rook. However, black was ready for this and prepared. So let's say that knight captures the rook on h8. There's, for one, an X-ray on the f2 pawn, the queen on f8, and the bishop on c5. So knight captures rook, and now the magic comes after bishop captures on f2 check. And we're going to see what happens if white accepts the sacrifice. So bishop captures on f2 check, king recaptures, and now the obvious move is knight takes e4 with a discovered check. King e3, queen to f2 is check, forcing the king to a light square. Now the king can capture on e4, but the results are also dangerous there. King to d3, and now knight to c5, check. The king has to move. King to c4. And now the follow-up is queen to d4 with check, forcing the king to b5. And after this move, queen over to b4 is checkmate. Stay tuned.